policing the police every single day, and doing what the Charlotte County Sun newspaper and local TV stations won't do every single day.
Hey, Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County COPWATCH. Andrew Sheets reported for COPWATCH for 8 years and now running for sheriff because he can expose it and change stuff. You got to get inside and change it. Anyways, unbeknownst to us, City of Punta Gords adopted the 15 rules, illegal, unconstitutional rules that Charlotte County had. And nobody knew about this till the other day when I was at the cop shop. And here's the worst one that's actually voted into law. This is really bad. Audio video recording anywhere inside the city buildings, you can and will be trespassed. This is absolutely illegal, unconstitutional. You have the right to record public officials while they're doing their public duty. And this bitch right here, Pam Davis, said, voted in because we don't believe in the Constitution, and this fucker agrees with it too, Charlotte County Sheriff Bill PRUMMELL. So anyways, I hate TikTok time, but that's the way it is. TikTok is huge right now. So anyways, like I said, Charlotte County had a list of 15 rules, and it's all fucking illegal as hell, and we took it to court. We got a bad lawyer, a bad judge down at Fort Myers Federal Court because it's dealing with Ian McGuire, who did a lot of bad stuff. And these 15 rules are insane and outrageous, but pretty much if you fart, they can trespass you. But it actually gets worse with Punta Gords. In Charlotte County, they actually do realize the law states that you must have redress. And here in Punta Gords, you cannot record, you can't audio or video record any fucking public official in a public place unless it's a cop. And even then, I think they're going to push it. They're going to use something else. If you fart, then they're going to trespass you. So they don't have the appeal process and/or I forget what the hell it's called. You need redress. That's what it is. They are basically saying you have to sue us. Charlotte County, you can actually take it to kangaroo court to appeal it, and sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. I think it's bullshit. It should go straight to court because you're wasting time and money again, which they don't give a shit because you're just a fucking slave to them. But it is here. We found out about it. I'm going to attach the video because here's how the sneaky bastards did this. They did it back in May, and nobody knew about this until I walked into the Punta Gords Police Department because I'm starting to hold them accountable again. They are illegally not giving me records again. Illegally not let me file internal affairs complaints. It's just fucking, it's bad. And they're treating Black Lives Matter better than I've ever been treated after 8 years of complaining about their corruption. It's reverse racism. It's really disgusting. You should look up the video I did of Black Mask to see if they would help me. And they actually did. It's kind of weird. So, anyways, so they put this sign up the third day that I went in, and we found out it was on May the 20th that they passed this secretly. They supposedly did put it in the paper, but I saw the screen grab of it. It was small as hell. And then I got the video from when they voted it in. Nobody knew about this, so there is nobody there to say that this is illegal and constitutional. Oh my God, it is and because of COVID. So what the fuck? During COVID, they do this sneaky ass, illegal, unconstitutional shit, and there is no appeal process. There is no redress. So basically, if they don't like you, you could literally fart. I'll put a link to a Google Drive where you can get this document, and you're trespassed for a year. You violate that trespass, you are in jail. So this is really sad. Contact Punta Gords Police and the Punta Gords government and say, what the fuck? You did this during COVID when nobody knew about it or was going to your meetings? This is dirty, dirty, dirty. You are going to see in their meetings for this, nobody was there because if I was there, holy shit, I would have made a big stink. Here's an interesting point. I'm already trespassed from there. and they're blocking me from going to a public meeting, which is illegal as fuck. So anyways, I thought you need to be informed of this. Please contact the Punta Gorda City Council, Punta Gorda City Government, Punta Gorda Police, and say, what the fuck, you dirty ass motherfuckers passing shit during COVID when nobody's going to these meetings. Dirty as fuck.
Thank you, City Attorney David Levin. This is GA-02-2020, the first reading of an ordinance, which I'll read by title only. An ordinance of the City of Punta Gorda, Florida, amending Chapter 15, Offenses and Miscellaneous Provisions of the Punta Gorda Code by amending Section 15-48, Control of Access to City-Owned, Controlled, and Leased Property, to adopt facility rules, providing for conflict and severability, and providing an effective date. We have already in our code an ordinance that identifies various areas within city-owned and leased buildings for areas that are open to the public generally, such as the city council when there's a noticed public hearing. We have areas with limited, that are limited open to the public, and then those where our employees work primarily that exclude members of the public for the proper functioning of the citizen, the staff, and limited access to members of the public for privacy purposes. This ordinance actually adopts a fairly extensive list of rules and behaviors that then give us the opportunity to enforce if there's disruptions of the city's functioning and interruptions of staff, and et cetera, et cetera. So this is a list of rules that would be put on a poster, prominently displayed at the various entrances to the buildings, and then gives us the opportunity to expressly enforce violations of those rules.
Mikhail Finkel, paralegal. Just before you vote on this, staff did just in section 6, the word handicap is identified, that we don't use that term anymore, so we would like to strike that and just have it say access areas, or the blocking entrances, exits, fire exits, if we could amend that.
That would not require re-advertising of the ordinance with that correction.
Okay, I have a technical question for you. Since this is a public hearing and we have, we really don't have public here, do we continue and hold the public hearing as we normally would procedurally?
Yes, and in the interim.
Howard did read numerous comments into the record.
Correct.
Already.
Correct. And in the interim, before the second reading, the public is, as always, entitled to present their comments in writing to be read at the beginning of the meeting. And when you consider this ordinance at second reading, you can elect, if you so choose, to reopen the public hearing for the consideration of comments and deliberation of comments that may not have been presented during the first public hearing, which is always the case. But you know, the only difference being is that some of our comments now might be coming electronically as opposed to being in public.
Okay. Any specific questions? Okay, this is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to comment, please come to the podium and you have 3 minutes. This is a public hearing. Last call, this is a public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
There's been a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Those opposed, motion carries unanimously. I do have one question, and it was raised to me, and that was on item 12 under H, and it says possession of illegal drugs or alcohol, and it's specifically referring to spaces of all city-owned, controlled, and leased buildings. The Bayfront Center is a leased building, and there are events held there where people consume alcohol. So we have this in here, but yet the Bayfront Center is a building where people have wedding receptions and events.
So is the Lashley Community Room.
Yes, and the Lashley Community Room is the same way. So, and the marina is actually a facility that's owned by the city. It's not a building, but it is, so,
We can, I think that's a valid point, and we can address that by inserting the words unless otherwise authorized, possession of illegal drugs or alcohol.
okay. So what would that then signify? Who's authorizing?
By the city manager.
City manager?
I assume that when we lease out a building or a portion of the building, that at that point in time, we could indicate whether, upon request, whether alcoholic beverages would be permissible.
It might be in the event process. I don't know how that works with, once we've leased the building. So Lisa, would you like to comment on that?
We could also make it a little simpler. I mean, if you, there may be some other provision, well, no, I don't want to go there. I think that it might be easier, as I said, for us to simply say, unless otherwise authorized. And then when someone is going to be using a public building and wants to have specific authorization to serve alcohol, that the request would provide that and the city staff. No? Okay, tell me how it works.
Lisa Hannon, zoning official for the record. We do permit it through the event manual for special events in the park, but like for when somebody rents the Bayfront Center, we don't get, for wedding reception or the community room, we don't get a notification on that, so that doesn't have to go through the process.
Yeah, that goes through.
It's private.
Right.
Lashley Community Room goes through the Dockmaster, Lashley Park Marina, their management company, and with the Bayfront Center goes through the YMCA. They would handle that. If a special event happens, and even at the Punta Gords Civic Association, when they do a special event and have a temporary alcoholic beverage license, zoning will sign off on that. But that's just like if the Care Ball, or, somebody has a fundraiser, but for a private event such as a wedding reception or family reunion or anything like that, we don't have anything that prohibits them from having alcohol.
It has been suggested to me by several, including the chief of police, that it may just simplify things for us to strike that provision that says or alcohol.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the first, I know people were concerned that expressing a concern that people wanted to go sit in the park and have their glass of wine and watch the sunset, and they were concerned that we were taking that privilege away from people. And I said, no, if you look at this, it's really referring to facility rules, not
And it's indoor facilities.
indoor.
Yeah.
But I think that would be good.
So do we need to revote then, because that's a change?
Can we just approve it as amended?
Well, we can approve it as amended because there will be a second reading.
Okay.
So
I'll
we
make
can, we can strike alcohol on H.
I'll make a motion to approve GA-02-2020 as amended.
Is there a second?
Second, sorry.
We have three, okay, we've had a motion in 3 seconds.
Everybody's like,
All right. All right, team, way to go.
out of practice.
All in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carries unanimously.
And Mayor, I wish to clarify an answer to your question regarding public hearings. Under our new rules, yes, people are invited to submit their comments by electronically, but the special rules also allow people to come to City Hall, to the chambers, and to the extent that the social distancing is accommodated, they can come in person and speak their objections or opinions in person during public hearing.
That's a very good point, that we will accommodate people. We cannot allow more people in the room than the capacity will allow, but we will accommodate people and allow them to come into the podium at that point in time and speak. So we want to make sure everyone realizes that your opinion counts and your voice counts.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. Appreciate it. So we'll begin with our ordinances, and I'll turn this over to the city attorney.
Thank you. Good morning. This is GA-02-2020, the second reading of an ordinance that I'll read by title only. An ordinance of the City of Punta Gorda, Florida, amending Chapter 15, Offenses and Miscellaneous Provisions of the Punta Gorda Code by amending Section 15-48, Control of Access to City-Owned, Controlled, and Leased Property, to adopt facility rules, providing for conflict and severability, and providing an effective date.
These are all ordinances. These are not public hearings. So any discussion, comments? Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve GA-02-2020.
There's been a motion and a second to approve GA-02-2020. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Next is GA-03-2020, the second reading of an ordinance, which I'll read by title only. An ordinance of the City of Punta Gorda, Florida, amending Punta Gorda Code, Chapter 23, Traffic, Article.
Hey, Sheriff County, this is Sheriff County COPWATCH. I am using any video here with under fair use if you have criticism, reporting, teaching, etc. And please donate. I do not make money from YouTube, and there are different ways to donate in the video links. Thanks.